Hi guys, welcome back. Aerator's been running for a week. Am I impressed? Am I not impressed? Hello family, friends, and YouTube. I am Joe, and this is Youngblood Family Farm. Um, Behind you is our farm pond. It is our farm pond, it is our swimming hole, it is a lot of dreams that have been challenged a little bit. So let me show you what I got here. This is just under a 1/4 acre pond, and we dug this about 8 years ago. And like so many ponds, it was a low spot. We had a drought. We dug it, and our first few years it was gorgeous. About 3 years in, lily pads, cattails came up, and it was fine, still fine. About years 6, 7, and 8, the duckweed came in, and each year it's been a little bit heavier. And so we are going to install an aerator, and I just purchased an aerator from Septic Solutions. And so give you a little bit about my pond before we get going. My pond is, we are going to put the aerator right around here, and we're in July right now, and so that's going to be right about 7 feet deep. We come over here, there is a deep hole, and currently it's about 12.5 feet deep. Comes across towards the raft, and it is in that 8 to 10 foot range right now. We are using a high blow septic pump, and those max out right around 8 feet deep. And so I know that in my spring and fall and even in winter, this thing's going to be in that 8-foot range. So let me go show you what I got, and then we're going to just kind of give you little snippets of the first month in action, so that we can see if there's any progress or not. So as always, I have a helper. Seems like I always have helpers, but let me start out by I bought the kit from Septic Solutions, and so this is a Pond Plus aeration system is what they call it. And so it is, I looked at buying the individual pieces. I called them, and they said, you know, we've kind of worked out the numbers with this. And so so I'm trusting them. I'm trusting their technicians, and so this is what we got here. This is the pump. I bought the pump. I bought 100 feet of weighted hose. I've got this little diffuser here, and that diffuser, you could buy it weighted. I've got a sand pile, and so I was able to fill it with sand. You could fill it with gravel. I'm sure you could fill it with anything that will just cause it to go down. And like I said, I thought about putting all the pieces together, and then once you actually add it all up, it is way more than the price that they're asking for. I got 100 feet of hose. The kit comes with 50. I just didn't know if 50 would be enough, so I can always cut it back or just leave it rolled up. I'm not exactly sure if I'm going to leave it in this spot. But what I was pretty impressed with was I didn't know what this would look like, but they mount this pump here, and this is a high blow 100 long life, and then they plumbed this guy in here. That just tees off to give it a little anchor. You bring your hose up here. There's a barbed end there. You bring your electric line up through here, and I'm pretty impressed that they just kind of did that. And so we're going to get the rowboat out and get some rope out so we can lower this thing in, and then yeah, then I'm going to just take some snippets of you know, this thing working, and then bring it back every few days to kind of show if there's any progress or not. So that's it. We got it, what I'm going to call temporarily installed where it's at right now. 100 feet, honestly, 100 feet isn't that long by the time you kind of curve out. You can see where the aerator is at right now. Kids are saying that it's awfully cold water coming up. Boy dove down to make sure that it was still upright, and we got it right around that 7-foot range. You'll see that I have the aerator tucked around here, and we kind of tried to loop out and then come across. That's where 100 feet of hose went. My thought is I would eventually like to put in some kind of beach here, and I'm using a throw out type weed razor, you know, where you pull back in, it cuts the weeds, and I want to make sure that I don't nab that hose, so kind of went indirectly a little bit. But yeah, so that's where it's at. We're going to let this thing run for a few hours, and then we'll shut it down. And then from what I recommend, what I've heard is you want to kind of work your way up, and you should expect a burst in growth of stuff because there's more oxygen, and then you should start seeing things start to getting depleted. So that's where we're at. Kids are kind of stirring it up a little bit. I would say that circle that's happening there right now is probably about 15 feet across. And yeah, let's get some oxygen in this water, huh? So we'll come back another day. Day 2, about day 2.5. Ran the aerator for about 2.5 to 3 hours the first day. I came back the second morning and ran it for about 5 hours. This morning would have been 2 days, and I plugged the thing in last night. I knew some rain was coming, a little cooler night, and now the aerator has been running pretty well non-stop for a full day. So here we are at the end of the first 2.5 days, trying to spit it out there, trying to help you have a figure of what's been going on. We got about an inch of rain last night, and we've had a decent breeze today. But as you can see, the aerator has definitely it's pushing things back. Very hesitant to say that it's improved, because I know that, you know, wind stops blowing and it kind of creeps back. And you guys have dealt with duckweed or water meal. One day it looks great and the next day it looks horrible. We've had a cooler day today, a little more cloud coverage, a little rain, a little wind, and so it's kind of shifted stuff around. But this is what it looks like after about 2.5 days and 1 full day running, and I'm not planning on unhooking it at all. So yeah, so that's where we're at. I will probably bring you guys back in another 2 or 3 days, and then we can take a look at improvement. So that's what it looks like right now. Hi guys, welcome back. Aerator's been running for a week. Am I impressed? Am I not impressed? Question. I don't really know. So here's the thing. This aerator has now been running full time for a week, and in my mind, this was the silver bullet to take care of my duckweed, to take care of my water meal, and I know that that's not true exactly. After 1 week, let me tell you what I have found. I have found that it took a couple days before I noticed it, but this pond now has, follow my finger here, now has movement that comes around like this, and it has movement that goes around like this. And if you get close and you really stare at the water meal and duckweed, you can actually see that it is moving now. That's the first thing that I've noticed. The second thing I've noticed is, it's supposed to be putting oxygen into the water, helping decompose some of that muck. What I've noticed now is the muck is squishier and it's more of a slurry instead of kind of, it was always kind of sticky at the bottom along the edges, and now it feels like it has actually increased in depth, and I know that's not true. It's just become more of a slurry, if you will. 1 week, 1 week. What does a guy expect in 1 week? So that's what's happening in 1 week. I got my wiring all taken care of. I've got my hose going down. I know that water level is dropping, so that aerator is probably less than 7 feet at this point. But with fall rains coming, the water level will come back up. What's the next plan? The next plan is I'm just going to watch it for a little bit more. I may just come along and hit some of this pond with a herbicide, and there's some really expensive herbicides out there. There's some not quite as expensive herbicides, but that actually target water meal, duckweed, and since I put some movement in there, the duckweed doesn't seem to want to reproduce as much, and so that's something that I would spray on. And you could see along the edges, you could see that definitely it is thicker. You could see right in there it is thicker. And I know that I'm only going to be able to spray out so far with my limited abilities. But right now, we're expecting some rain tonight. And usually after a rain, quarter of the pond will be nice and clear. And it will look just like that. So a little bit of wind picks up, a little bit of it clears. And so I'm just going to kind of keep updating this pond, and I'll slide it into a playlist, if you will. And so far the aerator, I'm pretty impressed. I could hear it humming over there, but it was pretty simple to put together. The guys at Septic Solutions, like I said, they had it really pre-plumbed and real easy to put together. Just very much a plug it in, put a hose clamp in, that was it. So this is Joe, working a little hard this summer, trying to utilize every resource that I have here on my little piece of property and get this thing cleaned up to become more useful. So hope this is helpful. This is 1 week. We'll probably see you again in about a month. So bye now.